So for years at seminars, everybody wants to hear about the hot new lure electronics, all the different things to catch more big muskies. In reality, I've said this for years, and it's true, that the most important thing you can do to catch more and bigger fish is to get good at handling and catch and release, and making sure that your fish survives. Catch and release only works if the fish survives. So just to go over the tools and the general attitude with catching and releasing and being successful with it. First of all, the basic tools, you definitely should have 2 of each of the most important stuff, and that's great big pliers. These are pretty extreme. These are like 15, 16, but at least 13-inch pliers. Always have a spare pair. That's going to keep you away from the slashing teeth and this, that, and the other. Now, you definitely, if you do not have quality hook cutters, you're definitely buying these before you buy new lures. Unless you go totally barbless, which a few people do, you have to have quality hook cutters to cut those hooks. Anytime you see a hook near a fish's eyeball, anywhere near the gill arches, anywhere that fish could possibly bleed out when you're trying to rip those barbs out, you want to cut those hooks instead. There's no exact right way to cut hooks. I always tell people just get in there at the exposed hook and start cutting. But if you get quality bolt cutters, they should easily cut up to 8/0 hooks. Split ring pliers, those are essentially there just for when you end up having to cut your hooks. By the way, make the decision to use the bolt cutters as you see that fish coming in. Don't try the pliers first and then decide, oh, this fish is really badly hooked, now I need to go to the bolt cutters. You should assess that. Again, if you see it by the eye, throw it wherever the gill arches that I talked about, or just real deeply hooked, immediately get the bolt cutters. Make that call right away so that you're reducing the handling time. One little thing that I've used for years too is I always keep a welding glove. It's very seldom, but it's usually with soft plastics these days. You might get a big fish that just inhales the whole bait. These work extremely well, better than anything to actually get in there, better than jaw spreaders. You just grip that fish. I've got that taped up, but you can literally go inside their mouth, force their mouth open. Again, that's a decision you should make right away to get that welding glove and the bolt cutters if it's really down deep. Sometimes gloves, these are actually blackfish sun gloves, but it's a good idea to have something like that to make sure you don't get gill rakered when you're holding the fish. Learn how to hold the fish properly. Practice that as well before you're holding up for pictures. Always minimize the time out of the water. That's extremely important, and much more important as the water temperatures get hotter. Then one more thing is the jaw spreaders. It just helps if you got a fish that's got the hook in farther, and especially if you're alone, you have something to kind of force that mouth open. This particular model, you can actually lock right in and hold that fish's mouth open while you're getting in there trying to cut the hooks out or get deep hooks out with the pliers. People do not really consider nets to be a release tool, but it's arguable legitimately that a good net is probably the most single important release tool. Now, first of all, it's a great net. There's a brand new teardrop hoop design and all these different things with the clam classless net, but I've said all along, most important thing is this mesh. This is a super tight weave, it's knotless, and it's heavily treated. These fish do not get tangled up, wrapped up. You cannot have a hook penetrate all the way through in this particular mesh. No slime is going to be wiped out, virtually no fin splitting at all, and a massive, massive bag. You've seen these nets in the water when Dave and I are doing videos. There's literally a cradle built in at the bottom of this net bag as well. You can literally have massive fish well over 50 inches, literally once they're off the hook, they're laying in there relaxing, totally submerged, totally horizontal, not bent up. Just a super important release tool. So put all of that together and remember to minimize that time out of the water.